you ever found yourself questioning why remodeling prices seem all over the map?
Hello, this is the Hack Hour Podcast, a show where it's all about helping real, everyday, hardworking remodelers learn the secrets to having it all in life and business. And now, here's your host, Mike Minges.
Or maybe you've tried to outsmart the system by going with the lowest bid, thinking you were being savvy only to regret it later. Well, buckle up, right? Because in this episode today, we're going to talk about and pull back the curtain on why remodeling costs are what they are, how pricing works, and why the cheapest option could end up costing you the most, all while our goal here is to help educate you, the homeowner, on how to make a good remodeling, buying, purchase decision. So, welcome to the Hack Hour. We primarily educate remodelers on how to be better and raise the level of professional in the industry. But today, in this episode, right, the warning, it's for homeowners only. And you have to understand, often the price that you receive, it's made up, right? And why remodeling costs are always unique. So let's understand this. Have many of you thought to yourself, I'm going to get 4 estimates. That way I know the real price for my remodel, right? And here's the truth, right? Who knows if any of them are accurate, right? Before you panic and understand, like, if you could look across the industry as a whole, you'd be surprised that most companies really are winging it. They are just desperate to get you to sign on the dotted line and hire them. And they've learned that if they can sweeten the deal by coming in at a price that is lower than what it should be, that's often the bait that they need to hook you. And they also have learned that what you'll probably recognize 6 months down the road is that you're better off just washing out and not dealing with the situation and letting them go and get off the hook. Because if you were to try to take them to court or file a lawsuit, it often would only just end up costing you even more money. And so then you're only left with the disheartening reality that you'll just now need to hire another contractor. And that was a very expensive learning process that all too many homeowners go through on a daily basis in America. So my name's Mike. I'm the founder of the Remodeling Academy. I've been in the industry for over 20 years. I have experience in doing the remodels. I have experience in being an expert witness in court cases, watching homeowners and contractors argue about what wasn't done, why it wasn't done, how come it wasn't done. What I can share with you all from firsthand experience is all these lawsuits, all the court cases, all the disgruntled homeowners always circle back to the homeowner thinking they were smart and hiring the cheapest or cheaper option. So let's go through and I can give you some more insight so that you are educated. And this way, when you are making a buying decision about who to hire for the remodel process, you understand more how the industry works and you actually understand how to go about making that educated decision. All right. So understand this. First off, you as the homeowner and the remodeler you're looking to hire, you're both struggling with pricing for the most part, right? Remodelers are often wondering, how much should I charge? They are scared that they could lose money. There's a lot of variables. Remodeling is complicated and complex, especially if you're having to take things apart before you put new things up. Now, as a homeowner, your question and concern is, I don't really know how much I should pay for this. I'm not very experienced in this industry. I haven't remodeled my kitchen 100 times, right? I haven't remodeled my bath or built 17 additions. So for you, understanding prices makes it a challenge as well. And pricing is unique, right? And that's why at times it gets even more complicated, because just because a neighbor of yours, just because a family member, somebody in another state, they might have just had their kitchen remodeled and it seems just like the one that you want. And the prices can be completely different because the way the house was built is different. The way the materials are being made is different, right? Things are regional in construction and they really are related to houses. See, a house isn't so much like your cellular phone, right? Whether you use an iPhone or an Android, those things are mass produced in factories and shipped out. Our house is much like what is on your cell phone. All the apps, right? All that's individual to you. So your house was built uniquely for your region, the area that you're in. And different parts of the country require different code and different materials. And all this plays a part in understanding why things cost what they cost. So I want you to understand that first, the remodeling industry is challenging for anyone who endeavors into it. And any remodeler that you meet that's been in business for several years and is doing well, be thankful that you've come across them, because 50% of remodeling businesses fail within the first 5 years. It's a 50-50 shot that any one person who starts a remodeling business today is going to be around in just 5 years from now. And for a lot of you, that can be leery, because some of you, your warranty period in your state could be 3 years, for example. And so when you're hiring this contractor, let's say to remodel your kitchen, you want to know if they're on their way out of business or if they're on their way to being an amazing business, or if they've already established themselves as a good business, right? Because remodeling businesses go down fast. They go down in a fury and in a hurry. All right. So please understand that only half of the remodelers out there make it through their first 5 years. And the reason why is most of them don't know what to charge. They just don't have a clue. They don't understand all the costs. Many of them were working for another company, so they understand what a wage is, right? And they think, well, if I just make X per hour, then I'm making money. But what they don't fully grasp is how much money needs to be made to sustain a business. And that's important, because when you're paying and hiring a contractor, you want to make sure that they aren't cutting corners, right? Understand that at the end of the day, a remodeler wants to make sure they're making money. And if they didn't charge you enough, and if they're not being paid enough, it's not like they're going to do all this extra stuff for you and not make sure that they make money. What's going to end up happening is they're going to make sure that they're making money, and your project is the one that's going to suffer with inferior materials, stolen materials, right? Sloppy or shoddy craftsmanship. And the list just can go on and on. Look, legal battles begin with low prices. I've alluded to this a few minutes ago. Almost every court case or lawsuit between a homeowner and a contractor, when you dig in, you see how it starts very similar circumstances. The homeowner decided to go with a lower priced bid, right? The homeowner at the time thought that they were being prudent. They thought that they were doing the right thing. They thought that they were being smart. They thought that they were educated, right? But it ended with frustration. It ended with unfinished projects, and worse, it was a total disaster. Now, oftentimes, homes are in just disarray for years because the project didn't get completed. The homeowner's now trying to sue, right? And so then things get left as they are. Then the homeowner finds out only that it becomes even more expensive to now bring in another contractor who has to fix the situation, only to be able to then give the finished result. It is a nightmare and it's a disaster. Also understand that in this industry, you have many contractors that have a trail of problems in their wake. Now, you may not always know this because they've relocated to different states. You may not always notice because they have a common practice of changing the name of their business every so many years, right? So they understand the game. And most of the ones who are the most personable and come across the best, they're the ones if the price is low and it's too good to be true, it is, right? You just have to recognize that and don't be hooked by that bait. All right. Now, here's another eye-opener to be aware of when you're setting a budget for your home remodeling project. 79% of homeowners set a budget for their remodeling project. Congratulations. Hopefully you have sat down, anyone, like if you have a spouse or a partner, whoever's involved in the household, hopefully you guys have sat down and did some work preliminary to try to come up with a budget of some sort, right? Just a number that you're starting with. Now, that's a good thing. You want to have some idea of the target. Here's where the problem comes in. 70% of homeowners blow past their budget. And you might ask yourself, well, why is that, right? Like, can they just not control their, buying process? Do they all just spend more money? No. The problem is that their budget wasn't realistic to begin with, right? They based all of their buying decision off of a value that wasn't correct. So then once they got into the project, they couldn't get the job done for this. It just had to go up. There was no other place for it to go. So understand that when you're trying to set a budget, if it wasn't based on what things actually cost, but if it was more based on what you think it should have cost, right? That's where the problems begin. And worse, homeowners, because of the lure of the cheaper price, often hire the contractor who lowballs their original estimate just to get the job, right? If a good lowball contractor knows this. They just lay the bait and you as the homeowner bite, right? It goes on day after day after day, and this is where the trouble begins. Now, why do prices vary so much, right? You get confused, and it's a good question, and I'm glad you're asking. See, prices vary because a lot of contractors use the cheap estimate trap, right? And again, when you get that low price, it's tempting, and you're thinking, wow, I'm getting a good deal, right? This guy's not charging me for all the extra stuff that other company's trying to do. That other company must be making so much money is what you're thinking, right? But here's the truth. The lowball price isn't a deal. It's a gamble. It comes with way more risk, right? Risk that, will the job get done? Will I actually get what I think I'm getting? Will I get what I've asked for? How is the contractor getting what I've asked for? Is he really buying the material, or is he just stealing the material from somewhere else? This happens more than you would like to think, right? So account for things like, where are my materials coming from? Where does my labor come from? There are many contractors who will drive over to that part of town that you're aware of where there's people living under the expressway, right? And they have most likely some sort of addiction, whether it's drugs or alcohol, and they will work for a wage that just gets them their next fix. And here's how this plays out on your job site. Contractor shows up on Monday with a full crew, and everybody's at work, right? But then that contractor pays his day labor, his day help that day, and then you don't see the guys for several more days. Why? Because that labor force went and got high that evening, and they're in no shape to be working the next day. So now the contractor has to scramble again and go find some other people that are sober, hopefully in the moment, or desperate enough, and he can bring them over, right? And all this is created because of the price that you paid. The contractor's dilemma now is, how do I find the cheapest help possible? And that's where they often go to get a lot of their help. Now, a more professional remodeler, they actually have employees that work for them daily, right? Consistently, that show up and they are in a sober frame of mind, and they can do a good product for you, and they can show up consistently. So understand that great price often means corners are being cut, and it could be the subpar materials, or they could just be skipping crucial steps in the process altogether, right? And because you're often at work and they're just doing the job, you wouldn't know whether they're doing it right or wrong in the first place. They know that, and they take advantage of it, right? Not a reputable contractor, but the ones who focus on the low price. This is part of their MO. It's the way they operate. And you'd be surprised how successful they are. But you'll notice yourself, you'll be tempted. you'll be very tempted to go with that low price contract. Now, those of you that watch the video, you'll learn, oh, now I see I don't want to be tempted. I was, but I don't want to do, right? So you won't go forward with it. Now, why higher prices are most often accurate. See, reputable contractors don't wing it. They value what they do. They value you. They respect you. They respect your home, and they respect the process. They respect the inspectors. They respect their subs. They respect their employees, right? And they've been in the industry long enough to know what it takes to deliver this great product, right? And they know how to deliver not just a great result, but they know how to deliver an amazing experience for you. They know how to make sure that they get through the process. They know that if we start this week, we'll be done in that amount of weeks. And you can sleep well knowing that you've hired someone that you can trust. Now, ask yourself, when you are out there and you're getting prices, when you receive a higher price than you expected from a reputable remodeler, take a step back and ask yourself, is this contractor truly overpriced, or am I underestimating what I'm asking for? Key point there. Did I fully understand what it takes to get the result that I want? Could it be that my expectations were too low? Not that the contractor's price is too high. Ask yourself, am I willing to gamble and take a risk on this lower price contractor who might not just wing it, not only with the price, right, but they might be winging it with the quality as well. So, look, these are hard truths about remodeling. Remodeling is not cheap, and it shouldn't be, right? It's a complex process, and a successful remodel involves hiring skilled labor, right? Professional. It involves having quality materials. It involves having a thorough planning process. It involves having an organized game plan, and it involves having people that pay attention to the details, right? Experienced contractors factor in all of this. They look at permits, they know how to anticipate, and they are prepared for the unexpected issues, right? And they even can help with the emotional well-being during the process, help guiding you through points where they know you might be getting frustrated, because remodeling takes time and things happen. That's the nature of the business. So understand that a professional remodeler, they price their work, right, to stay in business. They price their work so that they can honor warranties, and they price their work so they can ensure that you get a result that you're proud of, right? They're not just pricing your project, they're also helping price what peace of mind is, what it takes to have a good experience. It's no different than something that happens like at Disney World, right? It's all they want to make sure you're having a good experience, because they know it can be stressful. There can be problems, and they want to help make this be the best experience possible. So consider rethinking your approach, right? If you're looking at multiple estimates and one price seems significantly higher, that could be your clue to rethink the process. And here's a mindset shift that could help, right? Don't see the price as the enemy. Just see the price as a reflection of experience and expertise and the guarantee that you're being offered, right? Consider the value. Do you want the remodeler or the contractor who's going to disappear halfway through because they can't afford to finish your job? Or do you want the one who's charging what it takes to do it right, to show up consistently, to stick with you, right? To be there for the long haul and to work with you through the entire process. So maybe consider stop asking how much does it cost and start thinking this way. What will it actually take to achieve the result that we want here, right? It's very possible that you just if the cost is coming in higher than expected, that happens. Is it that you just have too many things in your cart? Maybe you have to take a few items out of the cart. Maybe things have to be scaled back some so that there's a price that you're more comfortable with, okay? So just consider that it might not be that the contractor's charging too much. You could be asking for too much, right? And it's okay. You just didn't know. but now you understand how it works so you can make a better decision. So, closing message for you guys, right? So as a homeowner, the next time you hear that price is high and it makes you want to wince, take a deep breath and think critically, right? Is the higher price that you receive from a reputable remodeler? Maybe it isn't because they're greedy, right? Maybe it's because they're the only ones that truly factored in everything that was required. And it's because they've done it before and they are fair, they are honest, and they know what it takes to deliver the excellence, right? So ask yourself, are you being smart by choosing the lower bid? Or are you just setting yourself up for more risk and a greater chance of the inevitable disappointment? Remember, prices aren't made up all the time, right? It's an honest reflection of time, effort, and resources that are required to give you a successful project, right? And a remodeler who's still around to celebrate the results with you. So in closing, we share with you why you would need a Renegade Remodeler. So again, to take away from this episode, understand that not all remodelers are created equal, right? Well, they might all drive trucks, but the way they go about driving them is very different. And the only way to really have peace of mind is when you hire someone in this industry is to ensure that you're working with a Renegade Remodeler, right? That's a professional who's been trained and they're certified by the Remodeling Academy's affiliation program. See, Renegade Remodelers just aren't contractors. These guys are committed to mastering the art and science of remodeling. They understand what it takes on the back end to deliver that beautiful product to you on the front end. So these guys are dependable. They're consistent. They're trustworthy, right? They're everything that you need, and it's everything that you're looking for in this world that unfortunately is full of a lot of fly-by-night operators. And when you choose the Renegade Remodeler, you're not just hiring someone to work on your home, you're hiring someone who's been trained to deliver excellence. They stand behind their work. That's why they've taken the time to go through our process and be trained in the first place. So if you want a remodeling experience that's stress-free and with results that are worth every penny, make sure your contractor is a Renegade Remodeler, right? And to find the nearest one or that's around you, or to learn more about what makes Renegades the best in the business, you can always go to renegaderemodelers.com. Now, don't gamble with your home, right? Trust a Renegade Remodeler and enjoy the confidence of working with a true professional. We wish you the best on your upcoming remodel. And as always, we hope that you will build more and choose wisely.
Thank you for listening to the Hack Hour podcast. It would be awesome if you would leave us a quick review on iTunes. To further your remodeling success, go to remodelingriches.com.